Hey guys, I just made it into Phoenix area, flew in from Tennessee. I'm up here at the Owl headquarters in Mesa. I'm getting ready to go take a look at my Ekko. They did a couple modifications, and also we're going to look at some other mods they're working on these Ekkos, so stay tuned. Everybody knows this guy, John.
What's up? Welcome to this beautiful winter
Yeah.
day in Arizona.
This is awesome.
We are going to look at
Oh God, look at this thing.
that thing. How much
Look.
better does that look?
Look at
Jacked
that.
up and fitted out with a,
Oh my gosh.
got a new nose on her. So this is the Ridgeline pre-runner bumper. So that's the max.
Yep.
Where it's got the full kind of surround. We went something a little bit leaner with the pre-runner. The only change from, so this was actually an early production unit. This hoop is going to be lower. I didn't like the aesthetics of how high this is, so
Yep.
this will come in lower. But other than that, I'm really happy with the way this bumper looks.
Will it come just like this, just a little bit lower to the?
Yep.
Okay.
It'll be lower. It'll kind of sit for vans that have a camera here. It'll sit between the Mercedes logo and the camera.
Will it be the
exactly
same?
where our pismo.
Same diameter?
Yep.
Okay.
2 inches.
I like the size of that a lot.
So
And
this.
bolt on.
Yep, so this bolt on, so you can run it actually without this as well. We have, you can put bolts in and run no bar. I love the way this bumper,
Yeah.
even though it's big and it fits the aesthetic of the Ekko, it's still not overdone. You've got your Mojab winch in there, which is actually, it's a slimmer winch, so you actually get better airflow to the radiator,
Yeah.
which with aftermarket bumpers is one of the things you worry about. And then you've also got access to your clutch with these removable mesh panels. And that way it looks nice and clean and finished. But if you need to access your winch to use it, you can.
Yeah. Speaking of the winch, this is a new winch for y'all, right?
So
Tell me all the ins and outs of that, please.
Okay, so Mojab, let me open this one up here. So Mojab is a local company here in Phoenix. We got to know the guy through some of the folks. Ryan here off-roads a ton and uses Mojab stuff and was just blown away by the quality.
Yep.
So we got to working with Mark, and he just came out with a line of winches. They've been a couple years in process. And the cool thing is 13.5. It's one of the lightest, quietest winches on the market. It also comes with, we'll pop the hood. Oh, the hood's popped. Let's look at this.
Isn't the Warren the 12,000?
The Warren is a 12,000. The Warren is a great winch.
Yeah, I've got that on my Revel.
The cool thing with this is the height is a little bit lower.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, the airflow to the radiators on this is a little bit better with the Mojab, but it's not, you can run either and you're going to be fine.
Okay.
The other nice thing about the Mojab is it does come with a cutoff switch, which is right there. So that comes with the winch. And so the reason you can do that is to cut any parasitic draw. So if a winch, like with a lot of the Warrens and other ones, which again, I love, but you just have to go in there behind it and remember to switch it off.
Give me an example. If I want to store my vehicle long term, that's when I want to turn that off from there?
It's a master power switch. You can flip that off.
Okay.
And it's going to cut all power to the winch so that there's no parasitic draw because, these winches are always looking for a remote.
Give me an example how long you yourself, if you had your van sitting for a month, would you turn that off?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And because there's a parasitic draw on the chassis from the Mercedes stuff anyway.
Yep.
Mojab winch comes with, I believe it's 2 wireless controllers and a wired controller. So you can plug in directly, or if you go wireless, you've got 2 of them. So you can store one, in a safe place and then keep one in the van.
Yep.
And then have the wired one in case the wireless ever goes out.
I love it.
Got the vent pods here.
Yep.
I love those because they're such a great use of dead space.
Uh-huh.
You get really nice light on the edges of the trails, but it still looks kind of very OEM. A lot of people don't even notice them, which I love products that
I think
are
it looks
kinda
cool.
subtle.
It gives it like eyebrows.
It
a little
does.
bit.
I
I
think
mean,
the
to me.
whole package works together.
Yep.
This bumper with the grill lights, it looks like OEM plus. It's like if Mercedes had a skunk works for off-road.
I do want to say something. I've thought about this earlier. I do not drive unless I have to drive after dark for fear of hitting an animal with my rig. I no longer have that fear now. This bumper is going to take a pretty good impact, I think, don't you?
Well,
Of a deer or something?
and here's where we have to throw in the caveat that obviously we can never guarantee
Oh, I know.
it's not going to damage a vehicle, but
it's
this is as good a coverage as you're going to get.
This is a whole lot stronger than that.
And just the amount that it sticks out here.
Exactly.
So it's really robust without being super bulky.
Yep.
So, and I think one of the ways that's achieved is this secondary pod.
Yep.
So it gives it like a slimmer appearance, and then this pod is where your DEF tank is, so it's nice and protected.
Yep.
So really functional, but I think they did a really, really good job making it look as lean as possible.
And also it comes with a nice skid plate here.
Yep. Skid plate is included, and it's got your service holes for both all-wheel drive and 4x4, so the skids work on both.
Okay. Yeah, because one day I was following a truck and he swerved and he was trying to miss a tread from a previous truck in the interstate.
Yep.
And that causes a lot of mess if you hit that thing.
Oh god, yeah. Those steel belted radials when they come apart.
Man, this looks good.
Were these on before you came in or no?
Yeah, I got it in Portland.
You got those in Portland?
Yep.
Okay, so those are our side steps. If you've ever seen the Ekko side step, in fact, we probably got a stock one here. We can get some footage of that as well and splice it in. But
I will say these are a couple inches lower than the stock. My rig sits about 7 inches higher than a stock Ekko, so I was having to almost jump up in here. But now I can just simply step because you can kind of see the stock ones are about right here. So they're about 3 inches lower.
Yeah, so the mounting surface is basically the same ground clearance, but what happens is the factory step is way up here. So this one does drop at about 2.5, 3 inches, so it is easier to get in and out.
I love it, and it makes it just looks more custom.
I love the Ekko. The side steps are one of the areas where it looks like whoever put that on was having a rough Monday.
Exactly. Well, they're not even, they didn't look, they kind of, did it angle out some a little bit or something?
Yeah, we can shoot some footage of one of these stock Ekkos. And then you come back here, you notice the exhaust is gone from here.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people think it's purely aesthetic. The reason we move the exhaust from here is when you're off-roading, you want to put your tire on the obstacle. So if you've got a big gnarly rock, you don't want to run that under your vehicle because you'll tear some stuff up. So you put your tire on it. Well, if you got an exhaust hanging here, you've just purposely demoed your exhaust.
And it does dangle quite a bit. That thing, if I remember right, it was a good 6 to 7 inches lower than the body here. So it's really asking for it, kind of.
Yep, and then you got the super single wheels. These are the Rikas. Really nice. I think the super singles look fantastic. And then coming back here, so this is our brand new Ekko exhaust, and this is a stainless tip. Oh God! And we actually had this Cerakoted. So we run the exhaust, we jump over the axle, miss everything important, and then we Cerakoted this in like a copper bronze. And Cerakote is usually used in the firearms industry. It's tremendously expensive. It's kind of a higher end form of powder coat. It looks stunning and it holds up really, really well.
It looks awesome.
And that color is one of my favorite colors. And the nice advantage of this color is it doesn't show diesel soot. You know
I was going to ask you if it would discolor, because that would be a shame for it to make that not look as beautiful as it does right now.
So we have two issues that we run into. One is diesel is a little bit dirty, and so you get some
very dirty
discoloration. The other thing is a lot of the piping from the factory and so on is not stainless. And so you do get some condensation with diesels. And so the water can run from the inside of the non-stainless into here and drip out and almost make like a rust color. Because it's coming from the factory piping. And so again, going with this copper finish, you're not gonna see any of that. And I also think it looks fantastic.
It looks great. Will this sound any different when I crank up the engine?
It won't change the sound at all. It won't change the emissions at all. It's all emissions equipment back. Actually. So if we did anything further up, we'd have to go through CARB approval and all that stuff. So
I didn't want to make it any really change it. I like it kind of quiet, you know, non-disruptive.
It's not a hot rod.
Exactly.
But and we tuck it really high. So if you draw a line from here all the way to the back of the rig, if any rock is hitting this, it's going to hit your rig. And so this is as out of the way as we can get it.
Looks fabulous. I love that.
And then coming around to the back, so this, one of the things we're going to do with Brian's rig, so hang with us. So this is just the stock bumper and ladder. And then what we can do is, you got to use your imagination a little bit as we walk over to our rig, because stuff that's in prototype does not look as cool as when it's final. So you got to imagine like you have a house, it's been drywalled, it's been mudded. The only thing left is paint. It's not going to look good until you paint it, but you get the idea. So come this way. We'll come on to the Owl Teton, and we'll walk back here. So this is the prototype of the rear gear carrier. So The ladder's not even attached on top yet, but you can see we're gonna have another section here, and this is rusty because it's not powder coated, it's just a proto. It's been sitting out here getting rained on and so on. But this bumper replaces the entirety of the factory bumper. It gives you more protection, in addition to being a nice platform on which to mount these swingaways. So this ladder is gonna go on a mount here. You got a much more robust ladder. It's got mounting capability, so you can put roto packs on there. You can put max tracks on there. Because realistically, this isn't a walk-on roof. So, I mean, you can, but most people don't go up there and hang out.
Exactly. It's not
so
meant to do
you
that.
can really use this to mount stuff. Over here, this is kind of cool. So we made this a swing out. And this is all going to get finished. This is, again, we're in testing for like the poundage of the gas strut. But you can see the quality of this. So what we did is we made our own parts on a lathe. The bushings here with a spherical bushing in here so that you can have some
wiggle,
some movement in that. So if you don't get it perfectly vertical as you're installing it, everything still functions. It also allows, this bumper is connected to the frame rails of the chassis. So the box and the chassis can twist and move a little bit while you're off-roading and so on. And so by allowing this to mount here with some ability to articulate in those mounts, it means that as stuff twists, this isn't going to cause any problems.
I see.
And then you've got the slot here, so we're going to have a tire basket so you can mount a tire. If you want to keep the tire underneath, you can mount a box here. And again, it swings out of the way so you can easily access, you know, everything in this rear compartment that you were able to access before.
Is that gonna just through bolt for somebody who wants to do it themselves? Is that gonna through bolt to the inside of the garage?
Yeah, so what's
to the
cool
inside
is this is the bottom of the bed right here. And so Winnebago puts a steel, it's not steel, sorry, an aluminum cross member that runs all the way across right here. And then through that, where the bed area is a piece of steel that's it's basically angle iron, and it runs the full length. So what we do is we go through right here, and it goes right through that aluminum and through that angle iron. And so you've got an entirety of the length here of steel that we bolt to. And realistically, this load down here, we're gonna have a Delrin ramp. So this is gonna have a latch and a ramp. So this load is gonna be carried by the bumper.
Oh, right? Something right here to hold.
Yeah,
so this I see.
I can show you the mechanism inside, but basically the way this works is there's gonna be kind of a pocket that, that ramps up, and Delrin is like a slippery machinable plastic. It's really expensive stuff. That Delrin's gonna be right here. So what's gonna happen is this is gonna hit that ramp. It's gonna take some load because it's gonna move up slightly. And then you got a latch. So all the weight of whatever you put on this is gonna ride on the frame rails. Incredibly robust.
That makes sense,
Only time this thing is carrying any load is when it's open.
Which is very seldom.
It's plenty strong, and then I showed this in my video before. But like, I'm 200 pounds. And it's going nowhere. So I'm really excited about what this whole rear system is going to look like. You got a spot here for some reverse lights, some Baja S2s. So if you're reversing at night, you talked about visibility. That's going to light up super bright so you can see when you're reversing, because you've got that rear camera. So now you can see before you hit something. And then we have mesh inserts that go in here to finish off the look.
So what made you decide this exact design floor? I mean, this like 3 foot by 3 foot, whatever size. Is that the size of a tire, basically?
So a tire, a 35, will just fit on this. And so that kind of dictated a lot of our size. We didn't want to go too far because you just really increase the lever arm when it's open. The other thing is we have to blend functionality with aesthetics. And so if you get too big here, it starts to look weird. And again, this ladder, so we have a bolt-on bracket here. So this ladder will have a similar bracket. So in reality, when this goes into production, this ladder is going to be just clear of that door. So it's going to be over here. So you can't go much bigger. You can't go much bigger on this before you run into that. But we're also considering doing 50/50s, that if for people that don't want a ladder.
Make sure you don't cover up this thing for your bat wing.
Correct. It's going to be just off the edge. But yeah, we're going to test all that stuff, and
if it works for yours, it should work for everybody's as long as it clears yours. But that looks really good.
So yeah, really happy with that. And all of this is going to be sold individual parts. So if you
Okay.
want to keep your factory ladder
Yep.
and you want to do the bumper and the swing out, you
Yep.
can.
Yep.
If you want to do just the bumper, you can. If you want to do just the bumper and a ladder, you can. So you can piecemeal this, and we'll come out with different accessories as we go.
Yeah.
But this is the platform on which all of this coolness is going to be built.
And you still have access to your trailer hitch and everything.
Yep, and we're going to actually notch this whole thing up.
Yep.
Again, for drop hitches that have stuff that come up. And again, that's one of the reasons we do prototypes is, you know, you hook up a trailer and you're like, oh, we got to go a little bit higher with this, etc.
I get it. I love it.
And then here, if you want to get footage, here's the OEM step.
Yeah, there's the stock, as you can tell, kind of flares out here a little bit. Gets wider and wider, which, you know, I used that for a few months, but I really like my new owl step better. It's lower, just a little better traction, I think.